only 3% of it is general fund related. But although it's only 3% of your budget, I mean, it's over $1 million. It's a substantial percentage of our discretionary general fund monies. And I think that $1 million is the numbers we should be trying to target in on in our limited time we have to do this. So I mean, it's nice, you know, getting an overview of the whole $34 million, but I don't believe that's time well
No, we
spent.
can.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Pleasure of the board.
what I'd like, I mean, I think maybe if the board agrees, that perhaps maybe at the end of this, or, you know, give you time to prepare, but let's just zero in on that million.
We got public guardian out of the way, we can go to BSO.
BSO is next.
So if you take GR, how much is 300 and?
430,000.
Right.
Well,
The
no,
budget's
minus-
430, but it's 370 general fund, of which we already offered up 43.
Now I made it 327, no,
Right.
and 370. Well, that's just what's in the budget.
Okay, public guardian?
Public guardian,
Is 163, 423,
BSL?
90,604, and there's 310,000 social services admin, MOE.
So the board, you can go to what, tab 2, and budget
There's
unit
160 county sheriff
1091
assistants.
has everything listed.
109 again.
1091.
1091, it's under tab 2.
How much for insurance?
160,000.
All right. 300, 600, maybe you're pretty much relatively close. What else are we missing?
That's it.
That's it.
I'm happy to focus on the,
California Children's Services.
So
that's
the,
down in now.
uh,
That's public health
the
realignment.
370 in the first line item, does that represent that one in general?
That's general relief. That's the aid to the people that don't get care somewhere else, single adults. Public guardian, which is a separate department.
Oh, so that's all of them right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see, okay.
So general relief is Fund 120, budget.
Yeah, so these
0881.
monies here show
This is
up in
what I'm
some of
looking
your
at.
other budget units, or no?
There's general relief, public guardian, veteran services.
Yeah,
The 310 shows up in social services admin,
okay.
and the 160,000 shows up in welfare assistance.
Yeah, that's what I meant, so these show up in one of the other.
Right. There's a budget for each one of
Yeah,
those.
okay. So these are the monies right here we could look at.
we've taken a look at public guardian already, so we can move on to BSO or.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good even just to know, I mean, at the end when we try to figure, you know, get down and dirty, if you will, I mean, knowing what our
Right.
monies we have some say over the $35 million.
So veteran service is responsible for providing outreach, linkage, and assistance to the county's veterans. There's 1.5 staff there, a veteran service officer and a veteran service representative. A slight increase there because Mike Stark was our veteran service representative for a number of years. He wasn't eligible to participate in PERS, and that had always been a benefited half-time position, and so we put the benefits back in this year. And then there are also 3 veteran peer specialists under the CalVet MHSA grant, and we haven't heard a thing from them whether it's going to be funded into the next year or not. It ends September 30th.
I didn't remember that when Susan presented it. And this September 30th?
Yes, CalVet was so slow, it was supposed to end July 31st, but they extended it for us, and as it is, we're only going to be able to use half the grant funds, so you'll see an amendment coming up. In fact, it's this week or next week. this week, it's coming on next week on that.
So there was some cause for celebration, but we're beginning to dampen it a little.
These people, I'm telling you. And as I said before, this one's pretty much cut to the bone. Not much to cut there. We're providing a lot of support, and they're getting free internet service, which I hope will continue. They made it clear that they could start charging us next year, but. And this is another department that we're gonna be looking at. We're gonna start claiming MAW funding in this budget year, so we should see some additional funds to offset their funding in 14-15.
Any questions then?
So the 177.96 does include that peer specialist grant funding, facilities costs are clearly probably like that program. Is that correct?
The 177. Everything for the veteran peer specialist is funded through the grant.
Well, the State Veterans Affairs gives us $80,000. So is that
No, the 80,000 is,
That's the State Veterans Affairs, and then we have operating transfers into the general fund is the 90,604 that you mentioned, that's up there, which comes from that one page that Karen played for us. So that's how the 170,000 is funded. So it's about 50. It used to be, it was almost like 100% county general fund, but now we've got some state funding
yeah,
already.
we actually get about 23,000 a year from the State Veterans Affairs just for the Veterans Service Office, separate from the grant funding.
So the 80,192 is the Veterans Affairs money plus the grant money.
Plus the grant money,
Yes.
because it both comes in from
And
State
that's-
Veterans
And that's
Affairs.
basically the grant money is a one-time
Yeah.
only thing.
Yeah, and it funds the veteran peer specialists and everything related to them, and
Because when you look down here, you see transportation and travel and stuff, taking the spike goes from like $1,000 up to $6,200.
And that's to pay them mileage
That's
for driving their
for
own
going
car.
to those three
Yeah.
specialists out there in the field.
Right.
And that's how it's.
plus we sent Todd off to training right away too. And that cost us more than we would have paid last year for Susan, because she'd already been trained.
Any other questions? Yeah, you want to do general relief? Yeah. Whatever you have next on that short list.
That is Fund 120, Budget 0881. This budget includes general relief assistance payments and indigent cremation. There's a few other things come out of there, including the $5,000 for that CPE agreement we just did with CMSP for the ADF, for the jail. I apologize for the alphabet soup.
It's not funny.
She did that on purpose.
Of course you did.
If you're gonna do it, you need to do it with a straight face.
I'm not very good at that. And so we paid $5,000 to CMSP out of this fund so that they will manage the jail's submission of the certified public expenditures to draw down federal funding between now and the end of this calendar year. And that was the agreement that Eric brought to you last week. And hopefully that should help the jail pay for some hospital costs. It does not include administration. You're not paying for any GR, General Relief Administration. We're taking all out of our regular social services admin budget. The number of GR cases has declined, and we think that's related to the fact that we've implemented some program changes. They're required to go in and participate in some job readiness classes, and so some of them have found jobs and others have said, forget it, I'll just go get recycling. So it worked.
Right.
We always liked the work fair program before, but when they found out they could get workers' comp, that was the end of that one. Client repayments and SSI reimbursements have gradually increased over the years, thanks to some great work on behalf of that our staff have been doing. Grant COLAs are gonna come up again in March, I believe they're scheduled for, because we pay a grant equal to what they pay in CalWorks. As I said before, this is the one budget where we could sustain the cut. Because we did well last year, and we figured to do at least that well this year, even with the grant COLAs.
And Julie noted that.
43,000, you said,
That's
right?
correct.
Yes.
How come this went up over $1.3 million? The actual versus the request for this. Am I looking at the right one?
Oh,
I think you're looking at the welfare assistance instead of the general relief assistance budget.
Fund 120, budget 0881.
Now, the welfare administration total.
No, total. Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah,
is
no,
I'm
it's-
looking at the overall total, okay.
Right.
I see, you're right.
That happens with state allowance function as well. We got millions salaries.
Yeah.
He happens to be the last one.
yeah, and so, you know, we think we can sustain that cut, and that we're fairly confident in that. But of course, if the economy takes some weird, bizarre downturn, we could be back here asking for some additional
We
funds.
periodically made adjustments to that near the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it better when we can say at the end of the year, gosh, we left so much money on the table, because then I don't have to come back here and ask for money, but, you know.
We appreciate not putting too much in there because that takes away from
Yeah.
other programs.
And we
may want.
figure with the $43,000 cut, that still leaves us enough headroom in case there is some change in the program that we need to manage. Because GR is subject to lawsuits.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm just trying to, look at the fund units where the general fund money goes. So the first line item, the general relief, and then it has in brackets 120 to 370. So what, in what one of your deals do I find that, or is it spread out amongst several?
The 370,000,
Yeah.
it should be on, it's on the,
Yeah,
Revenue
it's lumped into the revenue page, but it's also combined with the other 120.
So where, I mean,
So
which,
if you go to page, well, the revenue, page 11 is what I have, what page do you have really for general relief revenue or welfare admin?
what budget unit is it in?
It's 0881, but it's lumped into the revenue with 0852.
Let's go to 0881.
So it's the 2,060,000?
No, it has a
No, no,
separate.
no.
It's
It
okay.
has a
Yeah,
separate
that's-
line.
No, it's out of
370 is
general
up there.
share, it's 370.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 million goes into welfare admin.
Yeah, the 0852 is, but if you go back to,
That's right, is it a portion of then that 430,000?
yes, the 370 general share
Is it a portion
is
of?
general fund, and the rest of that 430,000 is,
State.
well, it's repayments, it's SSI reimbursement, it's